After about 6 years of living in our house, Reese and I decided that it was time to renovate our basement. We realized that we were bringing all of our paperwork home, a lot of work home, both him and myself, and we needed a dedicated space away from the upstairs to really corral all of that mess that comes with a home office, and the basement was the perfect place to do that. Prior to the renovation, we had a tenant living in our basement. It was an apartment, and it was chopped up into a whole bunch of little rooms. It was a great apartment, but it wasn't going to work as a home office for us. The back entry at our house used to be the dedicated area for our tenant, so now we could create a dedicated mudroom off the backyard. We got rid of the solid door that was there before and put in a glass door which would pull in more light into the basement. I love that we put in a slate tile floor in a herringbone pattern. It's heated underneath with new heat, so that's fantastic. When you come in during the winter, it's going to heat the floor, your toes will feel warm, and we wrapped all the walls in wood paneling. It's about 4 inches wide from Brenlow, and we painted it white. This was really important to me because I didn't want it to just be drywall, which can be kind of boring and dull. I wanted that texture on the wall. This was a great solution. And when you come down the staircase, I wanted to have some kind of vignette to greet people. So we just did a simple floating shelf in white oak. The artwork there is a collection of pieces that either I shot or one I bought at auction, I think. The light up top is actually from Best Light, and it's a light that I had in my bedroom upstairs. So I was able to find things around the house and bring them all down here. And now it's this lovely vista when you walk down the staircase. The first room that you enter after you come down the staircase is kind of a multi-purpose room. We were sure to include comfortable seating. There's a bench along one wall with lots of cushions. It's actually hiding the foundation that you get when you don't dig down your basement. There's a carpet, there's 2 great director's chairs, which I love, kind of have a modern safari feel. There's storage under the staircase, which hides all that garbagey stuff that you don't want to have in sight. I used white plank, white oak flooring from Monsour. I love that it added so much warmth against the white walls and created a great sense of flow. And then of course there's another desk area on one side with lots of storage. All the components are from IKEA, and they were perfect for really kitting out all of our needs down here. On one side of this room, I was sure to create a lovely vignette. There's a really large sized piece of art in that blue and white palette, a gorgeous modern rocking chair, and a very sculptural lamp that I also had upstairs. There's a really long hallway in our basement that connects one part to another. The big move here was that the ceiling height used to be really low because of the vents from the furnace. So a big part of what we did was move the location of the actual furnace plus all the vents to the outside walls to open up our headroom and really max out on space as much as we could. And you can really feel the difference now. We included this long bookshelf that was custom designed, and we've corralled all of our design books, and we have a lot of them, and put them on this shelf. So this is like our design library downstairs. The bathroom is probably my favorite part of the basement now. Before, this bathroom was really quite uninspired. It had a builder's basic bathtub that you can get off the shelf, and this one now feels very polished. We did the same floating detail that we did at the entryway with the white oak, so there's a nice sense of continuity there. I put a Duravit sink on top of it, so it feels like it's sitting right on top of that. I love that the paneling runs into this room, but so does some floor-to-ceiling subway tile, so there's a nice mix of textures on the walls. The black hex tile on the floor, it's also heated with new heat underneath, so it feels really warm and toasty, and that black just adds so much contrast to the white walls. It was really important to us to actually include a working kitchen in this basement still, even though we no longer use it as an apartment for a tenant. I wanted the house to be able to maybe flip back to that function if we decided to sell it, because a new homeowner might want that out of it. This kitchen's from IKEA. It's all white. I love the star-on counter, which is so smooth. We tucked a very low cabinet up top, which tucks in right underneath those vents that were moved because of the furnace moving. What makes it really pop is that black faucet, which ties in with all the black hits that you find throughout the space as well. At the very far end of the basement, this is the hard-working part of the basement. This is where we have desks where we can work. Again, that star-on counter that I was mentioning that's super smooth. So for people who are doing drawings like we do, it's actually perfect. But I wanted to make sure though that it still had some charming moments. So above the paneling, we've included a shelf where we can display a collection of books that we love, meaningful objects. We wanted to make sure that it still felt like fun for us down there. Our laundry area is also downstairs, but it's in its own dedicated section through a door, so it's kept separate. It has the same feeling, the same tile on the floor that we saw in the bathroom, the same white paneling for a nice sense of continuity. I think the biggest thing that we learned, Ariz and I, from doing this renovation is that you don't have to dig down your basement when you're doing a renovation. I think a lot of people think that you have to blow a bundle and really go through that massive mess of digging it out and getting high ceiling height. But we did not do that. We chose to instead do some really clever design moves to hide things like the vents. We moved the furnace to open things up. And we also did a really great job of hiding all the footings that come with a basement that's not dug out. It really is a fantastic space to come home to. I love working down there, and so does Ariz. It's nice and bright and fresh, and a perfect home office for the two of us.